Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. The right to speak in the global communications industry has always been firmly in the hands of Western countries. In particular, American companies have mastered more advanced communications technologies, so they have used their patents to grab a lot of wealth from countries around the world. Qualcomm is a typical example. However, this situation suddenly changed in the 5G era, and Chinese companies gained a leading advantage in 5G technology and patents. As a result, the United States began to impose sanctions, and 10 countries including Britain, Germany, and the United States also issued statements to exclude Chinese companies. Qualcomm is now a world-renowned supplier of mobile phone SoC chips, but its communications patent business is also a major source of revenue. In fact, Qualcomm started by developing communication technology. The name Qualcomm means high-quality communication. In the transition from 2G to 3G and then to 4G, CDMA is the most important technology, and Qualcomm is the main holder of CDMA technology patents. Therefore, before the 4G era, Qualcomm could charge patent licensing fees based on this. There is nothing wrong with charging patent fees, but Qualcomm charges very high fees, so it is called a patent troll everywhere. After entering the 5G era, although Qualcomm does not have as many 5G patents as Chinese companies, 3G and 4G are still in use, so Qualcomm can continue to charge patent fees, and it also charges 2+, because the patent fees are also included when selling SoC chips. Even the US company Apple couldn't bear this anymore, and it has been fighting lawsuits with Qualcomm in many places around the world for many years. But in the end, even a powerful company like Apple had to give in and paid a settlement of $4.5 billion because it still needed to use Qualcomm 5G baseband. It can be seen from this that how many companies around the world are helpless about Qualcomm's high patents. Most of them have grievances, but can only endure it. However, this situation began to change after entering the 5G era, because the Chinese company Huawei has gained an absolute advantage in 5G patents, especially the largest number of essential patents, surpassing established giants such as Qualcomm, Ericsson, and Nokia. As a result, Huawei's 5G equipment has become the dominant player in global 5G construction, and other countries cannot avoid Huawei technology. In this case, 5G patent fees will be dominated by Huawei. The key point is that the fees charged are very generous, and are not as high as those charged by Western companies. As a result, the United States was not happy, thinking that it had touched their cheese, and began to impose sanctions and suppression. In the perception of the United States, Huawei's strong rise has shaken their technological hegemony. Because Huawei not only leads the world in 5G, but the performance of the Kirin chips designed by HiSilicon is world-class, breaking the monopoly of US companies on mobile phone chips. So on the one hand, the United States blocked the chip and constantly modified the chip rules, leaving Huawei in a situation where no chips are available. On the other hand, it is trying every means to hinder the development of Huawei's 5G. The United States not only bans its use in its own country, but also puts pressure on many allied countries to exclude Huawei's 5G. As a result, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Sweden, etc. responded. The US's excuse is still the usual security issue, but this simply cannot withstand scrutiny because Huawei, in order to prove its innocence, sent 5G equipment to Western authoritative institutions for testing. After testing, the established German security agency stated that there were no safety issues. Later, the former British Business Secretary also publicly stated that after an in-depth internal investigation, they found that there was no problem with Huawei equipment. Therefore, Germany has not followed the trend in recent years, has neither expressed nor refused, and has basically remained neutral. But it suddenly changed recently, and it actually plans to remove Chinese equipment from the 5G core network by 2026 on the grounds of security. It can be seen that the United States and Europe have not given up their obstruction and suppression so far. They not only continue to make a fuss about 5G, but also start working on 6G in advance. Recently, 10 countries including the United States, Britain, France, Japan, and South Korea jointly issued a statement to form a 6G alliance. The purpose of establishing the 6G alliance is to jointly develop and deploy 6G technology and strive to regain the right to speak in communications on 6G. Therefore, the alliance not only does not include China, but also excludes Chinese companies such as Huawei and ZTE. The intention is obvious. The United States and European countries still want to use the trick of small courtyards and high walls to achieve 6G technology leadership and exclude China from the circle. Their various actions against Chinese companies fully demonstrate that the people's daily is right. Western suppression and sanctions will not stop. Compromise cannot bring peace. Only by increasing efforts in independent research and development and leading in technology can China break through the Western blockade. In this regard, Huawei has done just that. 5G has stood out from the crowd, and 6G has already begun its layout. Because Huawei's research and development has always insisted on developing one generation, waiting and watching one generation, and considering 6G when developing 5G. So the 6G alliance is doomed to fail.